Well, good evening, guys. I've got another video for you in our series on creation. Today's video is going to be a little different. In the series prior to today, we've been looking at common issues or questions people have about the biblical account for the origins of everything, about creation. And we've been explaining away these criticisms or these questions and helping people to understand, okay, here's what the Bible actually teaches concerning creation. And this was for a couple of reasons. A, to help build your confidence in Scripture so that you can begin to answer, but also show that, you don't have to turn to science or logic to answer these questions. You don't have to be this professor of physics in order to answer these questions. The Bible's truth applies. You can use it to answer these questions. Now, science and logic are good because they provide examples of the truth found in Scripture, but you don't have to have a master's level understanding of science in order to be able to answer a lot of the questions that people have about the creation account. And that's what this series has been, just me answering questions or common criticisms people have concerning the creation account. Well, today we're going to kind of switch gears. Instead of answering questions about the creation account, we're going to show how the creation account answers questions that science can't. What do I mean by that? Well, scientific theory and understanding of the origins of the universe and everything in it has a few issues. There are questions that they cannot answer. And so I'm going to show in this video and the next couple videos how creation and the biblical account answers those questions. So I think it's going to be best if I just dive in and give you the first question and answer it for you to understand what these next few videos are going to be about. So today's question that we're going to answer is, where did everything come from? And you may be thinking, well, Brandon, you've already talked about it. Yeah, I've talked about it from a biblical perspective, but I want to kind of switch gears and put you in a different perspective. When we talk about evolution, they have to answer this question: where did everything come from? They say all life evolved from a single cell organism over millions and billions of years, but where did that come from? Where did the single cell organism come from? And the cosmos around it, the universe around it that it lived in, where did all this stuff come from? And that's a question that science has struggled with. They have some theories, and they have evidence for those theories, but at the end of the day, they can't truly answer that because there are a couple big issues. Now, science's theory for where the universe and everything in it came from is something called the Big Bang. And more recently, I can't remember what it's called, but well, let me explain the Big Bang. The Big Bang, guys, is this idea that everything in the universe, all matter in the universe, started as this infinitesimal speck, this tiny little thing that was so dense that it had all the matter in the universe in it. And then at some point in time, a large amount of energy, an infinite amount of energy interacted with that speck of matter, and it caused it to explode outward, sending all matter in the universe out. And scientists have been able to observe this phenomenon. They came to this conclusion looking at gravitational waves and other things that show that the universe is expanding and expanding rapidly. And that's kind of how they came up with this theory. More recently, I've heard that it wasn't just one Big Bang. That one of the theories that they're floating now is that there has been a series of Big Bangs, that the universe will expand, then contract back into that little tiny speck because it can't keep expanding. And then that speck sits for a while, and then suddenly, boom, it explodes again. Then it pulls back in after a while. The universe has just been doing this throughout all time, expanding, contracting again. I can't remember what that theory is called, but the reason I bring it up is because the big issue with the Big Bang is you have to answer two vital questions. Where did the speck come from? Where did all the matter come from? And where did the energy come from? I mean, think about it, guys. We understand that there are physical laws in this universe that govern how it acts, and the universe can't act outside of those laws. One of those laws is the conservation of matter. That matter can't just appear that it has to come from someplace else, some form or some other object. That matter just doesn't disappear and reappear. It has to change forms, but it's never truly gone. Or I hope this makes sense. The other issue is energy. Energy, there's a law called the conservation of energy, that energy doesn't disappear or just appear out of nowhere. You don't have no energy and then that energy is gone again. It just changes form. It goes from kinetic to, I can't remember the terms anymore. Man, I feel old now. Potential, that's the word. It goes from one form to another, whether it's potential to kinetic or kinetic to potential or friction or heat loss or whatever. Whatever it is, energy doesn't just disappear. It doesn't remove itself out of the equation, nor does it just insert itself into the equation. It's always there. It just changes forms or where it is in the equation. I hope that all makes sense, guys. So these are two big questions that the Big Bang can't answer. Where did the speck come from? Where did matter come from originally? And where did the energy come from? And even with the idea of multiple Big Bangs where it expands, contracts, expands, contracts, you still have to answer this question, or these questions of where did the matter come from and where did the energy come from? Now, that explanation, I hope all makes sense. How does the Bible answer this? How does the creation account found in Genesis answer this? Well, I think it's pretty straightforward. The creation account in Genesis provides those two answers. What was the source of all matter and what was the source of all energy? Well, very simply, according to the Bible, it was God. I mean, the way that creation is described in Genesis 1 is in the beginning. That means there was a point before there was anything, even time. Genesis 1:1 tells us that time was created and then everything else. And it's kind of this mind-boggling concept of, wait a second, there was a time when time didn't exist. There was a time before time, kind of like the old TV movie series, The Land Before Time. There was a time where time didn't exist. And it's an absolutely earth-shattering concept if you try to wrap your head around it, but the Bible tells us that there was a time where time didn't exist. But then it also tells us in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. That all of a sudden, there was everything. And it answers this question that science can't of where did the matter come from and where did the energy come from? I think the Big Bang has a couple of things right. That the universe was created out of a single point, and that it has expanded outward from that point ever since. But whereas science says it was this tiny speck where some energy just happened to impact it, I say that it was God who, by his will alone, created everything out of nothing. And it is through his will alone that it continues to exist and expand to this day. I hope all that makes sense, guys. That's an answer to the origins of the universe that the Bible can give, but science can't. That God is the source of all things. The matter that we find in the universe and the energy that was acted upon it to be what we see today. I hope that all makes sense, guys. I hope you enjoy these videos. I really enjoyed talking about how the Bible answers some of these questions and deals with some of this stuff. So, sorry this video was a little longer. I really didn't think it was going to be this long, but it's one of those things you get to talking and trying to explain something, and it takes longer than you think. So, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll have another couple of videos. I think I'm not going to have one for Friday. We'll see. But yeah, take care. Until next time, stay safe, I guess. Stay safe and healthy. Bye.